Good morning, everybody. I hope that you are doing well. As you all know, due to the little scare that we have in our beautiful city, Daegu, we have this challenge right now with the coronavirus. And because of it, the first 2 weeks of our class will be online. Nevertheless, it's actually a great time for us. The material will be the same for those who already took some classes with me the previous semester. So you know that every week I will be uploading the PPT. So you will have the opportunity actually to read before you come to class. So I will we explain a little bit the way we're going to function. So basically, I will be making this type of videos about 40 to 45 minutes where I will be explaining a little bit what we're learning that day. And you will go to the CTL system, you will download the PPT. After downloading the PPT, you will also see a link that will take you to my YouTube channel. And from the YouTube channel, you can actually watch the class. So the good news about it is that actually you can watch it over, over, and over again. All right. So it's fantastic. So, and hopefully the pandemic will be over by then. Then we'll meet in class in Begongwan. The room is 201, and in the same building we have the class. My office is there. All right. The only difference is I will be on the fourth floor, 419. This is where my office is, so you can come anytime. Not this week and not the following week. We are talking about when we resume our classes on campus. All right. So saying that, I hope that you guys stay healthy and just keep your sense of humor. Humanity already been through worse than that, so we'll go over it. So if some of you probably lost family members during that coronavirus, really I'm sorry, my condolences. It's never easy to lose a loved one, and we know that in our city Daegu, this is where most of the positive cases of coronavirus are found. All right. So, guys, saying that, this is one of my favorite classes. We talk about food and health. Basically, we talk about the relationship between food and your health. Is today almost impossible to differentiate and say that there is no relationship between food and our health. Anything we put in our body, something will happen. But before I actually go deeper into it, I just want to remind you. Guys here that if you have any question, right, you have my phone number here, 053-580-5870. This is my office phone number. But for the next 2 weeks, I may not be there. I'll go there once in a while, maybe to pick up a book. But I won't be in my office. As you know, we need to actually stay indoor and reduce a lot of movements. And I'm sure you too are nicely sitting in your house. Now, the second phone number is my cell phone number. You can reach me through my cell phone. And some people already added me on the Cacao Talk. So that's also nice because I can receive a message from you, right, immediately, right, through Cacao. So if you have Cacao, you can add me, and if you have some question, I will be more than happy, right, to help you. So, but the best time, really the best time to reach me is probably between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. All right. So before 7 a.m., after 10 p.m., let's try to avoid it unless you really have some form of emergency and things like that. All right. So we'll discuss a little bit more about it. So welcome to the class, food and health. This is our hope that at the end of this class, you will be more mindful of what you are eating. Okay, so you also have my email address here, obiang@gwkmu.ac.kr. So this is my KMU University email address, and you also have a Yahoo, b_obiang@yahoo.com. Oftentimes, if you send me a message through Yahoo, it's probably faster because once again, I receive it from my phone. All right, I have a notification immediately. The university email is equally great, only that I have to purposefully decide to go to my email. All right, with this one, I don't have a choice. I need to attend to your needs immediately. Okay, guys? Okay, so now let's look at this, the outline. Let me remove my face a little bit from here. All right, so as you know, the widespread phenomenon of obesity. When I came to Korea about 10 years ago, we were not really talking too much about obesity, but these days we're talking a lot about it. The phenomenon of obesity, right, increased level of type 2 diabetes. I will explain this phenomenon. And other diet-related disease, right, that we call innovative strategy to promote, healthy eating diet. All right. So now we have this increased consumption of a heavily processed food in Korea, right? Along with a cultural shift, with what we actually talk about nutrition transition. All right. So maybe I have to remind you, for those who took the class Food and Nutrition English with me, this class is actually apropos. A lot of things that we learned last semester, you're gonna learn them a little bit deeper, and the class will be much easier for you because you took the class Food and Nutrition English with me. So we talk about nutrition transition. For example, in Korea, there is that shift that we're seeing from the traditional food, all right, of vegetables and grain, to more processed food, right? We look at some of these elements on the first chapter 1 when we talk about food choice. What are the reasons people are eating the food that they eat? Okay, so we're observing that shift, and we wonder if that shift is associated with the emergence of obesity in the country. All right, we see the level of type 2, the prevalence of type 2 diabetes increasing in the country. So this is probably the best time for us to assess and understand what is going on here. All right, so we are shifting from preparing food at home, all right, from preparing food at home, and what we do is we're eating more outside. We're eating more in restaurant, and restaurant most of the time have a lot of salt and sugar, all these pleasant things that actually increase the risk of preventable chronic disease. Last semester, we talked about non-communicable diseases, all right? I'll mention them in a minute with you guys, all right? We we'll review them again, and it's going to really be like a great moment. Again, if you took the class Food and Nutrition English with me, then you are set for this semester. Okay? All right. Now, the objectives. I mentioned them a little bit. So very simple. Let me try to find my mouse here. So the purpose of the course, right, is therefore to develop a holistic and multidimensional understanding of the relationship between food and health. For me, that's it. Understanding the relationship between food and health. And for those who have been in my class, I've been telling you, stay away from these soft drinks, stay away from some of these alcohol beverages. There's a direct relationship between what we put in our body and what happened to our health. Okay, so the course covers basic aspect of nutrients. Last semester we studied the 6 groups of nutrients, right? We talk about carbohydrates, we talk about fat, we talk, water, very good one. We talk about the vitamins, minerals. Okay, so we're going to look at these nutrients, especially in chapter 2 when we will talk about nutrition assessment. Okay, so we look at the food science, nutrition requirement of stage in life, the notion of food safety. I'll explain it a little bit. Food safety. This is when the food that you eat doesn't cause any harm, right? Perfectly healthy, there is no problem. But when the food that you eat is actually causing you a problem, in that case, we are talking about problem of food safety. And also food security. Now, they're similar. Food security, we want to know if you have enough food, nutritious food, and safe food every single day. Okay? We want to make sure that you are food secure, and we look at some of these aspects, especially in chapter 1, when we will talk about food choice and talk about the production and food system a little bit. It has to do about the pillar of food security. Right? We talk about availability of food, utilization of food, access to food, right? The 3 pillars of food security: access to food, availability of food, and utilization of food. Very easy to remember, AAU. So if I talk to you about the pillars of food security, right? AAU, so we're talking about availability, access, and utilization. It's going to be great. And if you go back to some of your notes of last semester, it should not be a problem. We should be flowing nicely. But it's okay. You have more questions, just send them my way. And when we will be in class, for those who already know my style, I usually finish a little bit early so that I can stay with you guys and we can continue the conversation. Okay? It equips students with skills to promote healthy eating and sustainable food production. So we talk not too much about food production, but we'll touch a little bit on it as well. All right, guys, just simple rules, very important. All right, complete reading in advance of class. Why? As you know, the class is in English, and usually for a better flow, what I usually recommend you guys is to read the PPT before you come to class. All right. Especially if you have a challenge with some technical words or challenge a little bit in English. So it will be important that you read before you come to class. So usually we'll send the PPT a week, a few days before we actually meet in class. All right. So I will do the same thing. And it's actually possible that I send all the chapters at once at this time. I'm still working on it, but because I'm always trying to improve what I did the previous year, so I hesitate a little bit, but stay posted. Okay, so important to attend the class, participate in class, raise your hand, ask questions, don't be shy. Participation is important for your final grade as well, and I will mention that. Okay, so if you talk to me, I feel happy. So please ask me questions, talk to me, give your opinion. The professor is not always right, so leave it out there. Give your opinion in class. If you need help in the class, please contact me. Very important. I also say that after the class, I usually stay 15 minutes and sometimes more to speak to some people who are a little bit shy, to ask questions during the class. So you are really welcome, and I encourage you to email me or visit my office, right? Begongwan 419 Sabek Shipkuo. So you must have a smartphone. We all have a smartphone in Korea, right? Or an iPad to participate in a review session. This is what I usually do. After we close with a chapter, we have a series of 10 questions. All right. So on your cell phone, okay, on your cell phone, you need very important. You need to download an application called Socrative. All right, but you need to download Socrative student. All right, I'm not sure, so you're going to see this, okay, Socrative, and then you choose Socrative student. This one is the teacher one. So use when you download the app, you will see something like this, okay, Socrative student. And I will give you the room number. My room number is always the same, but I will give you the room number. Then it will be more interactive. I am not sure how we're going to do it this semester if we keep teaching online. In that case, we may have a meeting, a Zoom meeting, where everybody, we all meet online. I will set up a meeting and send you the ID, and then we can do the review. So why the Socrative? Socrative allows me to really see the percentage of students who understand this question and not the other question. For example, if I ask the 6 groups of nutrients, and I realize that, wow, only 50% of the student got the answer right, it means that for me, I need to explain it again. All right. So, and I love doing that. Because I do not teach for grades. I really love teaching. I think it's my passion. It's my calling. That's what I love to do. So I will not be happy going home knowing that half of the class completely out. So it's my responsibility to ensure that you really understand the material that are presented in my class. All right, so you need to download it, Socrative student, and when the moment will come, I will give you the room number, and we can actually do this quiz and see where we need to review. Okay. All right, now the grades. This is not so much the fun part, but we need to assess your understanding of the material, And like I always say, it is not difficult to have a A in my class. You just need to stop watching Korean drama on TV. You need to stop with alcohol and going out partying all the time, and you should be okay. Not a difficult class. So let's just take a look. Let's take a look. Attendance and participation, 20 easy points. All right, guys. So just remember, I'm not sure I mentioned it. If you come late, if you come 15 minutes late, this is considered absent. Okay, this is considered absent. But if you have like any medical issue, you have a family issue or problem, something that is beyond your control, just send me a message, just inform me, and we'll take the appropriate step. All right. So don't miss out on these. Don't miss out on these easy 20 points. These are really, 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 really easy to get. So don't miss out on that. All right. Come to class and participate. 20 easy points. All right. Assignment. This is also very important. There will be no form of a quiz. Usually I give a quiz after 2 chapters. All right. So since I'm a nice guy, what I usually do is I give 3 quizzes during the semester. All right. I give 3 quizzes, and I take your best 2 quizzes. All right. Very, very simple. So if you have out of the 3 quizzes, two of the 3 quizzes, you have 10, and the last one you have maybe a 3 or 4, just had a bad day, I'm not going to count the 3 or the 4 points that you had. I would just count, take in consideration your best score. All right. So here again, the quiz, take them seriously. Another 10 easy points that you have there. Okay. The midterm exam, very important, 30 points. All right. 30 points. My style is the same. It's not going to change. Been here for 6 years now at Kemia University, and the style is the same. So we have the exam is in 3 parts. All right. So the first part is multiple choice questions. Right. A, B, C, D. All right. You choose A, B, C, or D. Oftentimes, if you choose B as my first name, most of the time you will be right. So B oftentimes is great. But A sometimes is great too, especially for those who want to get an A+, right? So the second part is true or false. Okay? So for example, we can say, for example, that ascorbic acid is the same as vitamin C. True or false? All right. So very, very, very easy stuff to do. So, and the last part is the written part. Okay. I'm not asking you to write an essay. These are sometimes basic stuff where I usually give a problem. In this case, you have a problem. The person has these readings when they go to the hospital. This is what the person ate yesterday, and we try to know, according to the reading, what kind of problem the person may have and what will be the nutritional solution. All right. So remember, we try to find a holistic approach to disease. All right. That will just be like the last part. And so we will be talking a lot about health, right? And we focus on some diseases that I will present to you in a minute. All right. And the final exam, 40 points, the same style. Only that my plan, the great plan that I have for you for this semester, I prepare 8 chapters. All right, I prepare 8 chapters. These are the 8 chapters here. So the first exam will be about the first 4 chapters, and the second exam will be about chapter 5 to chapter 8. All right, I don't do cumulative cumulative exam, but it will be difficult to do the final exam if you don't have the notions already learned in the first 4 chapters. Okay, so my friends, let's take a quick look at what we're going to study this year. Food choice. This is the first chapter. In food choice, we want to know, why do you eat the food that you eat? Okay. We may also ask, what is your favorite food? Why is it your favorite food? What motivates your choice? Oftentimes, the number one reason people eat the food that they eat is what? The taste. All right? But we're going to discover that there are also other reasons, right? Such as, money. I'm not rich. I don't have a lot of money. So I'm probably going to buy some ramen and, kind of cheaper. All right? Other reason may also be cultural. Oh, I love kimchi. Why? Oh, because I'm Korean. Other reasons may be religious, right? Maybe because of the religion. Oh, I do not eat pork because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. All right? So I don't eat the cow because being an Hindu, we do not eat the cow. So there are different reasons. And they are also my favorite reason of eating the food that we eat. And I hope that will be our main reasons at the end of this class. It should be nutritional reason. All right? I eat to be healthy. I eat because of what that food is bringing into my body. All right? So then my choice of food is associated with my health. Now you started to understand the relationship between food and health. Oh, now that we understand that something may happen in terms of the relationship between food and health, we then have to do what? Chapter 2, a nutrition assessment. What is a nutrition assessment? Here in nutrition assessment, what we want to do is we want to identify individuals, right? Or a population group that we think they are at risk of becoming malnourished. By malnourished, we have the word malnutrition. What is malnutrition? For those who speak French, Spanish, we have the word mal, which means bad. And then nutrition. So basically, bad nutrition. And malnutrition is at 2 levels. It can be overnutrition, meaning that we're eating too much, or maybe the bad food that may lead to obesity. And obesity will lead to other problems that we will look at later on. Or the second part of malnutrition is undernutrition. This is when you don't eat enough. We're talking about food and security. Remember, in the beginning, I mentioned food security. All right? And I told you we have enough, sufficient, right? We have sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. But in food and security is the opposite. We don't have it. And then we start to think, is there a relationship between maybe food and security and obesity too? Good question. So we look at some of these aspects because the result may be different depending if you live in the US or you live, for example, in some part of Africa. All right. So the response will be different when we try to identify this group of people that are maybe malnourished. So we talk about nutrition assessment at that time. All right. Now, once we understand the nutrition assessment part, we're now going to see the relationship between nutrition, obesity. We have excess of energy. Obesity is an excess of energy, excess of fat. We usually talk about the, visceral fat, abdominal fat. Okay. And we also look at the risk of hypertension. This is now the first disease. Now, guys, personally, I don't consider obesity as a disease. All right. Inflammatory reaction that can create a problem. All right. Hypertension. If you took the class food and nutrition with me, we did look at it, right? We look at a little bit more details now. For example, case of hypertension in pregnancy and things like that, things we didn't really see in your junior year, okay, in your freshman year, okay? So now we having a high blood pressure that is associated with obesity. So we look at it. What I'm eating, malnourishment, excess of nutrient, excess of energy, leading to obesity, a factor leading to hypertension. Now, we talk about too much energy. Then we go to chapter 4. In chapter 4, now we look at energy requirement and expenditure. Energy requirement is how much energy do I need? This is the fun part. We do some of these calculations in class. In average, people will say, 2,000 kilocalories. But then we're going to see that it truly depends, your size, your weight, your gender. We do this small calculation. And also depends of your physical activity level. All right? The energy. And then we look at energy expenditure, how much energy you're spending. And that part, in terms of energy expenditure, is going to be very, very, very critical. Why is it going to be very, very critical here? Is because if we want to tackle the problem of obesity, then we need to talk about energy expenditure, the energy that we are losing. Okay? Phenomenal. It's going to be a great year. At the end of the semester, then we have a better idea of how these things work and how we should eat and how we can avoid some of the problems. Chapter 5, we'll talk about nutrition and diabetes. I have to specify that obesity will be at the center of it. All right? Diabetes, we're talking about glycemic index, too much sugar in the blood. And when we measure the blood sugar, the doctor says, or the nurse will tell you, oh, your blood sugar is around over 126 milligram per deciliter. Okay, now we have a problem. So we look at some of these, what is the normal range? And we also talk about the case of pre-diabetes, right? We start to talk about insulin resistance. So it's the insulin that is actually taking the sugar, right? And, from the blood, taking it to the cell, so we don't have too much sugar in our blood. And now we're having insulin resistance. What is insulin resistance? What is happening? Is fat to do with it? So we look at it as well. And talking about it, then we go to chapter 6, metabolic syndrome, nutrition and metabolic syndrome. Very, very, very important subject here. So metabolic syndrome, it's a cluster of conditions that occur together. It just happen together. And we talk about 5 factors that just happen together. And when they happen together, they increase the risk of heart disease. All right. So they increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and even type 2 diabetes. So what are these 5 factors? We're going to look at them. All right. We talk about high blood pressure. We talk about increase in triglyceride, low HDL cholesterol. We talk about obesity, right? Visceral obesity, abdominal obesity. So we will look at what is the right number for men, for women, at which level are we starting to be concerned. And the problem of insulin resistance. Here, talk about insulin resistance, you're not quite diabetic, but you're pre-diabetic, right? So glycemic index is between 125, okay? So now we start to worry a little bit, so we can make a quick change in terms of what we are eating, okay? So now we going slowly towards the end. In chapter 7, we talk about nutrition and cardiovascular disease. All right, one of my research topic on cardiovascular disease. So when we talk about cardiovascular diseases, these are a group of disease that involving the heart, right, and blood vessels, okay. And so when it involves the blood vessels, it can lead to stroke. When it involves the heart, it can lead to heart attack. So usually you will have very simple. I'll show you guys in class. You have the artery that is like this, and then in the middle you have a small plaque that is there, that is full of saturated fat and sugar. And then you see it's like very, very simple. You have the artery here, so the blood is flowing nicely. You see the blood is flowing nicely. But if you put something like this, all right, you see my mouse is here, and then you see that the distance is now reduced, all right, the blood flow is now reduced compared to when it was like this. Now it's like this, is now reduced. So you have that tap kind of traffic jam like you are driving, and this is something that may lead to a heart attack and a stroke in certain cases, okay. And hopefully we hope to have the time to study the last chapter, nutrition and cancer. All right, my friends, as you know, cancer is now the #1 killer in Korea. So very, very important disease right now. So, and we have to look at it. #1 is cancer. #2 is what? We're talking about heart disease, right? Cardiovascular disease. So these are very, very important things. So Korea is not that different from the United States anymore. We know United States, I think #1 is heart disease, #2 is cancer. So really similar conditions. And this is why we come back and talk about nutrition transition. What is happening in Korea? Does it mean that we are changing the food habit? Okay, we are changing the food culture. We are adopting more westernized diet that is actually usually full of fat and sugar. Okay, so let's just be very careful about it. Of course, there are other factors as well. For example, in Korea, men smoke a lot. I don't remember the numbers in terms of smoking per capita. How many men are actually smoking in the country, and that can also lead to different elements, including pulmonary disease and heart attack to some extent. So we look at cancer. What is a cancer? A group of disease. It's just involving what? Abnormal cells growth. The cells are growing like crazy, and the risk of it is that as they grow, they start to spread and maybe invade other parts of the body. Okay, this is where it becomes very, very problematic. So we look at it, and hopefully we have a chance to talk about the Korean healthy eating index, a very, very important aspect of the things that we need to study this year. Really understanding that there's a Korean healthy eating index, And from there, we compare really, and we check what people are eating, and if what they eat is really in line with what is actually recommended. So it's very, very important that we look into it. And if you take the class nutrition, the nutrition class with me, is going to be great equally, because in that class, I'm teaching the 6 principles of diet planning. And that 6 principle of diet planning, what is new is that, yes, contrary to what we saw last semester in Food and Nutrition English 1, we're going to look at what? We're going to look at the Korean Healthy Index. We just look and we say, okay, this person is eating this and that, and we can make a better assessment in terms of the nutrition. Okay, guys, so I think I'm done for the presentation of the syllabus. All right, so you can see that my next page is food choice, food selection. So this is the first chapter I will send to you guys. So again, stay in your home, stay safe, try to exercise a little bit, cheer up. We're almost at the end of it. The semester is great. You have an opportunity to study. So once again, stay healthy, stay optimistic, and I can't wait to meet you guys very soon. So take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon.